I have a book, brother, called Murder by Injection by the History of the American Medical Association. Talks about him. I'm bringing it in tomorrow with the brothers to share about it. So he did over 200 experiments on this one slave girl and how people had to hold her down. And after, you know, they did that 1 or 2 times, they couldn't do it no more because there was no anesthesia. And then he got funding to create that hospital up in New York. Yes, sir. Documented. American Medical Association. Murder by Injection. I sure will, brother.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Those are what? What are those? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got that on my refrigerator for my children.
You got it on the refrigerator?
Yeah, this, flyer that goes
Yeah, this goes like that.
So what's that one?
Jim Run?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Explain to this lady what this is used for. Sure, we can
Volunteer?
Yeah, we can.
Anybody want to volunteer? This is a mask that's used for punishment. And it's used in the fruit growing or the cane growing region. It's used to keep you from eating up the fruit. Since we didn't have enough to eat, so most of the time we was always eating on whatever we could find. So this is how it was born. There's a lock behind your head like this. And if you was on a punishment, it may be put on there for a week or a month. And during the real hot weather, when the temperature got up about 100 degrees, your skin stuck to it. You know, especially if you was a male and you had a beard, gnats and flies, and God knows what got on the inside of it. Okay? And when you pull it off, your skin came off your face with the mask. Now for the females, it was used as a device to keep you from abortion children, because it would keep you from eating certain things when you wasn't under supervision. And our women ate stuff to eliminate the child, unborn child. You know? And if you was an old slave, they just put it on, locked it up behind your head, and since there wasn't a retirement plan, work you to death. You see, so we now call it the death mask.
You see that a lot in Brazil.
Yes, it is. It's a horrible thing to use. Terrible thing. So, you explain this? This is for guys, brothers who, and females, who had a history of running away. You know, wouldn't stay put, as they said in the great movie. They locked us around your neck like this, and you wouldn't be able to, if you ran away and made it through the woods and then catch it in a vine. Come on, good, you're my man. Yeah, hold it with your hand now. Hold it with your hand.
Now this particular thing is a reproduction. And the originals came out here. Just about.
And some of them had bells on them, didn't they?
Yes, some of them had
Yes,
bells.
bells, everything. Right? So it's designed to catch into the vines and the fence, briars and everything, and to keep you from sleeping if you did make it into the woods and escape. You couldn't lay down. So if you couldn't lay down, you couldn't go up trees, and the dogs got you eventually. So this is another one of those inhumane devices that we had to wear. Gene, you had the maiden.
What? Which one?
The one you just had. The one for the young girl.
This is a muzzle. It's African made. It was used in West Africa on slave women. The Europeans had their choice of the European, of the African women every night. You've been in those slave dungeons that Dr. Jeffries was just talking about. It's usually on the right, and the man's is on the left. And to muffle the sound, they would put this over her like this. And just like that. I won't put it all the way over, but that's the way it went. It's a muzzle.
Keep it from screaming, making noise.
During the Middle Passage, when there was a great deal of people trying to escape, not escape, but to commit suicide by starvation, this is a little gadget they use. It's called a force feeder. This is a different type one. They have all kinds. They would take this and force your mouth open, and then they usually had a funnel that went down there and they poured some kind of food to it. Let's see.
I know that food was nasty
Most of
too.
these sculptures that you see here were done by, or all of them were done by Africans to portray the history of the slave trade. We were brought from the inlands of Africa all kinds of ways. By rope, by chain, by pieces of wood around the neck. This particular one shows the rope going through the crotch and tying from the hands up there. And the gag. The gag was most of the time used to prevent them from hollering and alerting other Africans and keep them from being recaptured.
Now this device, when slavery was finally outlawed, and the British would send out patrol boats and stuff, or when you had pirates going out taking the slave ship, this is how they would get rid of the product. And if the British or the Americans didn't actually catch slaves on the ship, then they couldn't, there was no penalty. There was no penalty. They could see you tie up the bodies like this, and they tied us together, you know, and to make sure we were safe, because there's no way you could escape. You would drown. So there was no penalty for you drowning, for you killing a whole bunch of Africans. But there was a penalty if they caught the slaves on your ship, you see. So this is another one of the ways they got rid of us, and at least 1 million or more of us died in the Bridge of Bones.
Yeah, I'm bringing my king from home.
In the Bridge of Bones. This is the, I know everybody read about the Mandingo.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is the famous man, and as you know, this is how they captured him, and I think this come out of Mali. Yeah, you see, and
Guinea. Oh, Guinea?
Guinea. This is how it was.
Brother Samaki is from Mali, and he brought it to me. Where it comes from. I thought you told me it was Mali. It's Guinea.
You see, so most of these that you see here are the accident history that the Africans saw in their eyes. Because we here during slavery could not design this. We was enslaved. And they would simply, if we did carve some art, or make some art, or draft something, or drew it, the slave owner would simply take it and destroy it. So the only real records that we really have other than Europeans are the actual pieces that the Africans themselves set about and made.
This is, as you see, it's African made. It has no key or lock. It works on the principle of putting some
grease,
palm oil in your hand and force it down. Force this hand down. Only be behind your back. Then they take the palm oil and you can't get out. It's all brass. And you can see it's been well used.
Now right here we have the slave ball. Most of y'all have heard about this and seen it. Very, very heavy. Now,
How much does it weigh?
about 60 pounds.
Oh.
The male one weigh much more than that. That's for the female.
Oh.
You see, so heavy.
that's it. That's good, crazy.
So when the females was in the dungeon, and the European would spy on him, and he would select whichever one he wanted. And she didn't cooperate for some reason, and well, what they would do was take the chains like this and tie it around your neck or your waist or your ankles and set you out there in the hot African sun or the American sun or wherever they wanted. Let you stay there for a couple of days. Most of the time, our women was very cooperative after that. In this country over here, it was used to keep you from, when they placed you in the field and you was a new slave and you hadn't broken in well, you didn't know the ways of slavery, you just got off the boat, and they would do the same thing, and you would have to actually drag this along or go as far as the rope or the chain would allow to do your work. And in the evening, they come and unhook you and take you back to the slave quarters. The males was twice big.
Can I get you two as a volunteer? You two. Yes. Just went around like that. And that went around like that. And that thing went like that.
Padlocks was put on it.
And locks were put on it. And the hands were tied behind their back. Always the hands were tied. That they made sure that your hands were tied in all cases. Sometimes the mouths were gagged, hands tied, chained together. They had to learn how to walk like that for miles.
Not only was the hand tied, but usually this was put around the neck,
Especially the males.
And put around the neck of the next one,
Yeah.
and the next one, and the next one, so far down the line, to make sure that you didn't get away. He was controllable. Thank you.
You can mingle around here and touch these things if you want. Any questions you want?
Try them on. Feel free
Try
to
them on.
touch them.
Where's this sculpture here come from?
Oh, that's a colonial piece. He's been down to the shipyard and just picked up at the market. He's bringing it back to the master.
Just like old Fiddler and Roots.
Yeah, you got it. You got it on his way back. He just picked the sister up off the slave market.
And where's the sculpture come from again?
Well, it's West African colonial piece.
Okay.
Done during the British occupation of Ghana province. Yeah.
And it was a day. Just tap somebody. Plain. Not now. We rushed it.
This works with me. It came to American. I don't have any.
No, we were down there with Merrill.
This, even the modern ones look like different sizes. See, this goes up. It goes all the way up. See, this opens up. This is almost off too.
That's what we had. That's what
Here's some pictures. Shows how the Africans treated the Europeans when they came to Africa, and how well they treated them when they was in trouble or in harms. How the Africans, when they first came to Africa, Africans took care of them. That's interesting. This is called African hospitality.
This is what the Europeans do. And they traded this because we've been dealing in brass for years. The state of land for raising drugs. Whatever that problem was, medicine, different herbs and stuff. That's what the state of Georgia was growing.
No, we couldn't get it.
For some reason, they use especially Savannah, cross, they have down, jerk around, down, all up and down, they have to right now. They had a plantation and they had thousands of us. But they used to Texas. Sometimes Louisiana. That's why they put Texas from Mexico. So they used all the slaves out of South Africa. The Africans out of South Africa. Brought them and put them in holes in Georgia and South Carolina. And as they took Mexico from Texas from Mexico, and they sold those slaves then to the Europeans. The European would buy a league of land or so many acres, and he would get some of the slaves with acre land. So they depleted South Africa from the blacks, while they got Europeans to colonize Texas and set slaves there. So they were making money. You're right, they had underground railroad. But it was underground markets for slavery. The last slave ship
700 years before
was captured slave. George. The one.
No.
Last one.
Well, how can I get in contact with you? That's what I'm trying to get from
Well, but we're out of cards, but I'll give you my business card.
Oh, which that the one with the chains?
And I'm gonna soon be.
Some of my historians go. A year was about 3 times equal. So what I'm trying to do is keep adding.
Yes. Look at that, baby. Look at that. So emotion that that's the right
Mortality rate was 20 to 30%.
That's right.
You know,
See what I'm saying? See, I picked it up.
it was only 3 feet. 3 feet.
You want to
Six four. I'm told you. So even was cramped up for you. What's your weight?
This don't have no number.
30?
That's got no one. 481,
A guy like me or something. 30 inches is not much space.
Oh yeah. This is
What now? How many? 20?
You mean mortality rate?
Yes.
20 to 30%. Now that's the ones. That's the ones. I'm not talking about the ones that were marked from the inland or African coast.
Oh yeah. We went to East.
This is the curator here. This is Eugene Red.
All right.
He'll explain to you everything that you need to know, where he's from, how old he is, how long he's been doing it, how many children he got.
Yeah, my name is Eugene Red. I'm the curator of Project Never Forget. Mr. Rudd here is the founder of it. We joined forces about 8 years ago, and 10 years ago. I'm originally from White Plains, New York. I've been collecting black memorabilia and slavery stuff about 40-some years, a little better than 40. And we go around collecting. We show it in school systems, and college systems, and in the public. And we really want to be a part of this reparation because we see the importance of it. See, we can take these shackles and chains and go right up to the UN with these shackles and chains and show them just what they owe us, you know. See, a lot of them, we just talk about slavery. We can just actually demonstrate to them by putting these shackles on. We take some kids and take some women, put some yokes around their neck and walk right into the UN and tell them this is what you owe us.
My name is James Rudd.
Just one more thing. Give him some of the numbers you just gave me.
The gentleman just asked me about the amount of Africans that were taken out of Africa, and I just sort of simplified as best as I could because I'm not a historian, but I happen to know some things about it. I've heard historians say from 10 million to 200 million. I've heard that number. And that number is really not that astronomical if you just look at the fact that there was no less than 1,000 ships on the water for 400 years, you know? So if you start multiplying and all these different facts, that number $200 million is it might be
on the low
more.
side.
Might be even more. Now the mortality rate was from 20 to 30%, just like I told you.
And if you take the consideration of all the captures and how many died during that period of time.
Yeah. Slave wars.
Right. The Bridger Bones and the slave wars and all that kind of stuff, then you can see that it could easily approach 250 million people.
You see, another factor that we leave out, we don't talk about the lost gene factor. You know, we don't talk about that. I'm talking about the ones that died. Their people will never be born again. They'll never be born.
Oh yeah.
The lost gene factor. You see.
Now, and speaking of talking about reparation, these are the actual evidence. Most people who have been in slavery don't have evidence of their being involved in slavery. So what we have here, we have the physical evidence of slavery itself. Plus, we don't have any more witnesses now because most of them have died out that was in slavery themselves. But we do have the evidence of slavery, and it is still close enough to us that we still feel the pains of slavery.
Okay.
And how could people from Pittsburgh, where I'm from, or anywhere else, get in contact with you and bring you to their city or town?
All right. My telephone number is first. My name is Eugene Red. 301-735-5236. You can call me there.
All right.
301-735-5236.
All right.
My name is James Rudd. I'm from New York. Phone number is 516-481-4843. That's 516-481-4843.
All right.
James Rudd. Project Never Forget.
Also, we have another partner, Clemson Brown, who videos, and his name is, what's it, Transworld?
Transworld Video.
Transworld Video. His phone number is 718-859-4046.
All right.
Clemson Brown.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
About what each of you does and what your whole role in this is.
How many children?
How many children?
My name is Samake Hussein. I'm from West Africa. I brought the African art for sale, you know, and I brought some slave pieces and give it to people for them to remember what happened done before, so they should not forget. So I think we do Ray, you know, just finish talking. So this is my stuff. I stayed for 6 months. I go back home. But I'm 36 years. So my name is Samake Hussein. My telephone number is 212-234-5987 in New York.
Okay. And what about the idea that some people have in this country that the brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa have either forgotten about those who have been taken into slavery into the Western Hemisphere, or if they haven't forgotten, really don't have any consideration for those of us who have been scattered throughout the Western Hemisphere?
Because, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you say, but to me, it's not good because we're not supposed to forget each other, brother and sister, so we're not supposed to forget. I don't care why you have a man or not, don't forget each other. Good. Give me a hand, I work together, that's it. That's why I approach everybody to do that.
Okay.
No, you talking about Alexander?
What about the brother right here?
My name is Randy. I work with Minister Clemson Brown in Transatlantic Productions. What this company does is document the African slave trade on videotape. We have been back to Cape Goose Castle, Ghana, Goree Island, in Senegal. We try to do as much as possible of bringing video information from the continent for those of us who can't afford to go to the continent can still have an idea and witness what is taking place on the continent and why these slave dungeons was set up, and just to let African people know in the United States and the diaspora that African people were not taken with volunteer. They had to be broken in terms of their spirit and everything before leaving the continent. And what we try to do as much as possible is to have a video documentation to let our people know that, hey, this really happened. And if you go to Africa and see how slave dungeons were set up and everything, to prove that this wasn't something that people just talked about it, this rumor going around, but this is actual facts. And that's what basically we do in terms of video production.
And where are you based at?
We're based at New York City at East 23rd Street. The telephone number is 718-859-4046. And the president of the company is Minister Clemson Brown, and he's been documenting the African slave trade and been back to the continent, and also to Egypt too, for the last 25 years.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, brother.